It's the Earl of Real Estate, Robert Earl, taking a look at the latest Case-Shiller report that was put out last week. This was the home price index for March, and I'm taking a look here on my screen. And what was reported in the mainstream media was that for the 20 major metro areas, home prices dropped by 0.8% for the month, and we're down 3.6% from a year ago. There's a couple reasons for this. I believe a lot of this, as I've talked about in past videos, is tied to the first-time homebuyer credit. And when you take a look at statistics, and when you're having a lot more of the lower price point properties being purchased by the first-time homebuyers, and we're comparing last week to this week, it's going to be a lot of difference, or last year to this year, I should say. These numbers had some folks claiming that we were actually going into a double dip in home prices. And I think it's too early to be able to tell whether or not that's actually occurring. And in just a moment, I'll talk about that for sellers and what sellers need to pay attention to. But if you take a longer look at what's going on, the Case-Shiller data reveals that in the 20 measured areas, which Washington, D.C. is included in this area, the Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia area, home prices are up 38.2% since January of 2000. Now, if you compare this to what's going on in your 401k, what's going on in other long-term investments that you've made, you'll see that there's quite a bit of equity that people have built up over that time frame. Since 2000, again, to repeat, 38.2% up. That's a national number covering all 20 of the measured areas. The New York Times recently had an article, and they had an interactive chart that shows you those areas, and it shows you truly the bubble that occurred over that period of time. But yet if you draw a line across from 2000 to what's going on now in 2011, you'll see that there is that uptick in the prices that go along. One part for sellers that you really need to understand when we're talking about this potential of the double dip is that there are some activities that are going on in the real estate marketplace, in my opinion, that are going to cause it to be a little bit more difficult over the next 6-12 months for sellers to be able to sell, and why this summer represents a great window for those that are looking to sell their property. Let's look at what a couple of those items are specifically. One item is that they are talking about increasing the down payment percentage for buyers. They're increasing the amount of money that buyers need to come up with. And remember back when you bought your home, in most cases, folks were buying their home in less than a 20% down payment amount. And if they change this even to a 5% as compared to the current FHA 3.5% down payment amount, or if they go as drastic as requiring 20% down payment on all purchases, what do you think that's going to do to the pool of available buyers? Do you think that that's going to expand it, or do you think that that's going to contract it? You know that it's going to contract it. And as a home seller, in order for you to get top dollar for your property, you need the most available buyers taking a look at your property. And if the government, if the banks, if the mortgage companies take actions that cause that number to decrease, that's going to make it more difficult for you to sell. So you know what the marketplace is right now. You know that there's a ready, available pool of buyers that are putting as low as 3.5% down on FHA loans. And those individuals are going to be able to purchase now during this spring and summer time frame. Who knows what the future holds? As we also see interest rates that are still hovering towards the lower ends of the market, every single home buyer and home seller that I've worked with and spoken with over the past 12 months, when I ask them one question, do you think that the interest rates are artificially being held low right now? Every single one of them responds back, yes, I do. And Robert, we know that interest rates are real good, and we know that they have a potential of going up. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if interest rates go up, what's that going to do to the buying power of the potential buyer that's looking to buy your property? Do you think that they're going to be able to afford more, or do you think they're going to be able to afford less? You got it. You're a step ahead of me already. They're going to be able to afford less. And because they'll be able to afford less, they're going to be looking to you as the seller to drop the price of your property so that they can afford at the same level. They won't be paying the amount towards your purchase price because the interest will be eating up the amount that they could pay on a monthly basis. So again, with low interest rates, we're seeing a window right now that you'd be able to slide within and be able to get top dollar for your property. Top dollar in compared to what the marketplace is going through right now. Now, if you're in a situation where you don't have equity in your property, we've also been helping a number of sellers that are in that condition to go through a short sale, to investigate what a short sale means, or if you're behind on payments or look like you're heading towards that direction, we also can assist you from that aspect of it. Give us a call, 571-926-9230. Now back to the Case-Shiller report. One item that we want to also take a look at is that you cannot compare your own neighborhood or your own home's prices with a national average. That's why on the EarlofRealEstate.com we have a separate section for every condo and housing community in Northern Virginia. We're local experts and we break it down to that local level. And even when you take a look at that data and that information, it does not help you in determining exactly what you should be pricing your specific property for. You see, national home prices are misleading. That'd be like saying that yesterday in the United States of America it was 72 degrees. We'll tell that to the folks that are in Montana where it was only up to a high of 50 yesterday. The national averages really don't work out. Beyond that, distressed sales are at a substantial discount, and we have to look at each particular marketplace as to what the activity is going on with regard to REO properties and with regard to short sales to go through this. Last point is that the Mortgage Bankers Association recently reported that loan demand has been unchanged from the prior week, and it was up 7.6% from a year ago. Now, the Mortgage Bankers Association is the ones that are taking a look at how many loan applications they're getting in. And again, this is showing that the spring marketplace, there is a level of demand. We're seeing that here in the Northern Virginia area. And if you're considering buying, take advantage of those low interest rates. We really have a perfect storm going on. And if you're considering selling, you have a ready, available pool of buyers. In some neighborhoods, they're seeing a limited amount of inventory, and when properties are priced correctly at the market value, we're actually seeing multiple contract bids, allowing the seller to pick the offer and the terms and conditions that best match what it is that they're trying to accomplish. Again, I've put out a lot of information here, and I could probably go on about what the local marketplace is, but I'd rather do that with your specific questions. Give us a call, 571-926-9230. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions, see how we can assist you.